Peace and blessings, y'all. This is your boy Gerald. It is Monday, January 8th, 2017. How is everybody doing? I hope that those who are living on the northeast coast or the northeast corridor that had to deal with the storm that came through, leaving gifts of now the ice and the cold temperatures. I hope that you are safe. I hope that if you were on the highways and byways, you allowed yourself the necessary time so that you will not be placed in harm's way. How are you doing? Well, I don't know about some of y'all, but I know a small percentage of us, a small percentage of us had to brave the elements. Yeah, I was one of them because, for one, government don't stop. The mission has to continue, and the work has to be done. Oh yeah, Gerald's out there shoveling snow and dropping salt out there. Did I want to do it? No, but it had to be done. So with that, I know somebody said, take your hat off, Gerald. I can't see you. I feel your energy. I feel your energy. Took my hat off. Now, you still don't believe God is real? Come on now. I felt you. I can't see your face. Well, here I am. But while I was doing my task, I found myself in thought. Some of y'all will find whatever your practices is or routines, you will find a place in the midst of it where you allow your mind to expand. You know that ain't nothing but your spirit trying to align itself. You do understand that, right? I hope you do, because 2017 is your harvest year. You do understand that, right? Now, I say that because truth of the matter is the events, the efforts that you have already put into practice. How about some of those mindsets and choices? Well, you're going to see them this year. And some will blossom into those, will be the validation of the efforts that was already committed. Who am I talking to? Now, I have to also put out there are going to be some that the harvest is not going to be what they thought it was going to be. Where they thought that the intent or the soul that was cultivated was going to blossom the seeds of effort. Unfortunately, they're going to see some stones come to the surface. Some are going to see some thorns and thistles where they thought that was smooth. Now, if you allow that to stop your direction, you've already defeated yourself. Who am I talking to? Maybe the challenge and the obstacles that are being placed before you are finally coming back so that you can deal. Who am I talking to? Somebody saying, well, maybe there was a conversation or there was something that had to be resolved because it had been sitting on your emotions for quite some time, and now you are seeking resolution. I commend you for that. I commend you for that. Because even in times of despair, y'all, guess what? There's still opportunity for growth. And some of our greatest blessings are revealed right in front of you, and you don't see it because maybe there is a veil. Maybe there's a illusion. Maybe there is a false truth. It's a lie that has had footing in your life for quite some time. Well, we can easily say logically it don't add up. Who am I talking to? Maybe that's the reason why those emotional triggers are flickering these days. And you're like, wait a minute, hold on. Whoa. Well, you said this, but your actions say that. Which one is it? Maybe you're just required to just be still, be vigilant, and go within. I keep trying to convey this to the intended heart, the intended mind. And you have to bear with me, y'all, because you're like, what are you doing? I gotta put my boots on. You just took boots off. I know, but I still gotta go to work. So this goes back to what I've always echoed to you. Can you honestly say this? Can you honestly answer this? Do you know who you are? Because if you can honestly answer that, why are you feeling perplexed? Some feel downright threatened because the foundation that you have built does not represent who you are inside. Who am I talking to? But we can honestly say this. Our environment is a reflection of what's found inside our spirit. So if our spirit is unrested, if there's turmoil and confusion, and there's no reprieve but constant reminders, why won't you love yourself more so you can embrace what is true? Because the fact of the matter, there will never be another you, y'all. And we can do a lateral and look at it as maybe that's the reason that the audience or the people that have access to your life respond and react in that manner. Now, at the end of the day, y'all, you got to do your work. There is no way around that. What's at stake is your legacy. How it plays out is measured by your actions. That's why deflection only delays the outcome. So what you afraid of? You don't have to answer that to me. You have to answer that beautiful person that's in the mirror. You know, the person that you saw this morning? Mm-hmm. That's who you got to answer it to. Because if you are just going through the motions, we can honestly say that you are holding yourself hostage from your happiness. Who am I talking to? I think a lot of you know what I'm talking about. Because we're talking about your smile. Your smile is the first indicator of your spirit, but it is also the validation of your behavior. So why are you choosing to ransom it? Because of what she said? Because of what he did? because of who you know, or lastly, who provides comfort. Nobody can do none of that, y'all. None. That's like trying to take a Lego piece and putting it where it won't fit. It doesn't matter how much pressure you put on it, it will not fit. It's not supposed to. Because everything that you need and require comes from a position of truth. Everything that is required for you to see comes from truth. Even pain. That's why pain knows no time. It just sustains. It is a living constant. To some, that may be an illustration of that challenge that you keep burying, trying to bury and stuff away inside you because you think that that's what is needed for your persona. How about that fake self-esteem that you've been trying to shove off and feed yourself? Because, well, you see them all the time. They're animated, 1 minute, and they look like they're sponsored by Mattel, but guess what? There's no soul in that. That's why it cannot get credit. That's why there's no uniqueness. That's why that does not set that person from the rest. Why? Because the truth of the matter is maybe that's not the environment you were supposed to be with all along. I know somebody's saying, well, Gerald, I hear what you're saying, Gerald, but, I can't do anything about it, Gerald, because that's the chips that were dealt. But nobody said you had to accept them. Maybe the test was that you would. Maybe what was required was you to tap in to the person that belongs inside that blessed soul of yours. You gotta work for me, y'all. I'm tying my boots. But see, I got it. Because you have those that have an agenda. And they say, well, as long as you are distracted, we can keep robbing you of your time. Because if you're too busy looking at me, then you ain't looking at what you need to do. And they know it. And guess what? They're going to reap what they sow too. I don't wish bad on nobody. But the fact of the matter is, as long as you keep putting value in man's hands, you are basically choosing not to walk into your forever. Who am I talking to? Bear with me, y'all. I'm looking for my other boot. Oh, it's right there. Bear with me a second. See, everybody's got a routine when you come home. And some of y'all leave your boots, leave your shoes right at the door. Some of y'all walk to your bedroom and kick them off into your closet. Whatever it is, whatever floats your boat. And, but your boy work hard. Your boy out there in the elements and got to stay layered because Gerald don't want to get sick. You realize how many people are going to be sick because of this weather, y'all? I know some of y'all saw that video I put out about the snow. I was not trying to be on some conspiracy type thing, but, you're talking to somebody that was that kid in science class and paid attention and knew And I'm like, why isn't this snow changing its state from a solid to a liquid? And if I keep going, it'll become a gas. And it didn't do it. And I'm like, okay, wow. And we're wondering why people are getting sick. Well, truth of the matter is, you have people that don't want you here. You have some people that believe that slow and steady wins the race. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Because there's a lot of baby boomers that are still on this planet. They are, and they're not dying as quick as they should. So we're talking about population control. And this isn't on a conspiracy thing. Just do the research for yourself. That's all I'm going to say. I think it's kind of surprising how they don't even have any truth about putting it out there. It's like, wow, how is it in the last 7 years you've seen so much advertising about medical issues during the day? Why? Because they're trying to attack that perception. They know. So when you start seeing signs and you try to WebMD yourself instead of getting a second opinion, they know, well, we got brain identity. They're going to go check us out. That's how advertising works. Now, let's go back. So, I know some of y'all saw the title. And there's a reason why I put it there. Because, truth of the matter is, some of you have already made a decision to peel that old skin off. You know how a snake or a lizard will go through a phase, and then they will start to peel off the skin and emerge into the skin that was already there underneath. And I believe a lot of you emotionally, either by choice or by default, you're at that point. And the hardest challenge has been basing your ideologies compared to how it fits in your day-to-day. And what was holding it together, let's be honest, was fear. You were afraid to take stock of what has transpired. You know it. And to sustain it, you allowed your pride to take position, not your steps. So that's why you see a lot of damage control going on these days. You see a lot of deflection going on this right now. You see a lot of denial going on right now. But you don't never hear nobody talk about, hey, regardless of what's transpired, stay on point. You don't never see anybody talk about you. I keep echoing, I've always echoed, and I stand behind it. You can yell division all you want. Excuse me. Because I got different hair. I trimmed my beard up a little bit today. You can yell separatism all you want, or point the finger all you want. And as everybody knows, one finger pointed out, you got four pointed back. So when we look at community, how can you even think about community if you're not thinking about yourself first? But see, we get misconstrued Because when people talk about, well, I need to look out for myself, they automatically want to take the negative spin on it and say, well, you're being selfish. Okay, so being diligent is being selfish. Investing in your health is selfish. How about your mental health? Is that selfish too? But see, you don't hear them talk about that. They, and this is not a rant. This is just validation, what you already know. You already know that because some of y'all are seeing the physical aspect. You tired of going in your closet looking for the Saturday night special, and you see everybody doing the same thing. And you're feeling a certain kind of way because you constantly remind you saying, well, I'm not like them, but you're in that environment. And the backlash that comes with it, really that ain't backlash. That's just a communication that is not given correctly. So people, you're going to meet somebody on the lowest level. At the end of the day, you got to do your work. So that means you got to make a choice. And some of y'all know this. Some of y'all have been dreading this for a long time, like a person that's been incarcerated, but they've already been told their release date. They've already been told when they're leaving, and the days can't come quick enough. You already know. See, the battle ain't going to be getting to the release date. The battle starts the moment that you free yourself. Because this is going to be foreign to you because of habits, behaviors that you may have found comfort in. Who am I talking to? So now you got to prepare for the kitchen sink to be thrown right at you. And I say that metaphorically. I do. Because some of y'all saw the title of, well, what am I supposed to do? You got to be true to yourself. Now, keep in mind, you can't get back these last 10 minutes. You can't get that back. But you can't get back 10 minutes of your life. But if you are investing in stuff that won't celebrate your life, sustain your life, enhance your life, what are you doing? You are ransoming your time because you're not seeing the significance of it. So what about your day to day? What about the people that have access to your life? Because that's when the real battle will begin, y'all. The moment that you are able to see your strengths, you already know your strength. But really, when you start to look at your weakness, think of it this way. You know how we have our five senses? It is normal instinct when you lose one, the other four will enhance itself to make up for what you've lost. But the doubt does not have footing until you decide to look at or question where the doubt came from to begin with. Who am I talking to? Some of y'all have been in relationships, short, intermediate, as well as some that have been around a long time. And in your mind, you are gone. Some of y'all have used this as a tactic just as to stay in the environment that you're in. The question should be asked, why? What's keeping you there? What's that's like being that's like being like a dog on a leash, but they see the gate, and the gate is left open, and all you want to do is get outside that gate until one day you don't realize that you don't even have the chain on, but you've been so conditioned you don't even sniff out there. You just this is all you know. So let's put it out there. If you want to change your life, you got to claim it back. And that means you're going to have to do some unlearning. You're going to have to claim some truth. You're going to have to focus on the things that you were afraid to do. And that might mean you're going to have to say goodbye. Who am I talking to? He said, well, Joe, I don't want to say goodbye because I can deal. There are things I'm not kosher with, but it's not all that bad. But is it worth the ransoming of your smile? Is it worth the contamination of your mind? But see, I know that's too deep for some people because we live in a linear world where if I don't see it in my hand, it's not real, but you feel it every day. Why? Because God is trying to connect to you, let you know that there's something better if you go within. But here's the thing that a lot of people overlook. You know how it is always suggested that every quarter that you detox your body from the toxins that have built up in that quarter? Why won't you detox your mind? Most people say they'll do it, but they do that just for validation to sustain the environment. And then they'll try to dissect it because it don't fit. You already know what you need to do. So what's preventing you from lifting up your feet to take that first step? That doesn't mean that you have to complete it. That's just required that you change the trajectory of your direction. Because if not, what will end up happening is you'll be doing what you've been doing the last 5 years. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. And guess what? This will also go against your support system because once again, if they had your best interest at heart, why hasn't someone come to you and said, well, look here, I've been watching and this hasn't been working. All due respect, maybe it's best that that's the direction you need to go. If they love you, remember LOVE, they love you, right? Why aren't they protecting you from you? Why aren't they? I'll tell you why. Because they use you for the entertainment as well as you are the guinea pig. Maybe, just maybe, that is also something that they have yet to master themselves. And they're just going to throw you out there to see if it sticks. You thought about that? See, the worst thing that you can do, and a lot of people do this, they think, well, you know what? If I go through a period of hibernation. I just lay low. And then I just, do a little Houdini move and reappear. Then the world would have shifted and perceptions would have also changed. But people fail to realize that people go off of the interaction that was first set. That's why they say, that's why you hear people say all the time, first impressions are lasting ones. But they don't never take accountability for their actions. Who am I talking to? Why are you sitting over there frustrated because they're not doing what they need to do? But you feeling it. You done told this person time again, you know what, here you go. This is what you need to do. And they're like, yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. And they might do something to pacify you, just to keep them off the back. But really, they have no intentions on doing anything. Why? Because they are comfortable at where they're at. So if the dynamic does not shift, there's no reason for moving. Why should I change if I'm benefiting from it? But that's true, ain't it? People don't like that. This is true. Then you have some people that will not admit that all the signs around you says, I'm bought and paid for. No, I just gotta play my position, Gerald. I gotta play my position because if I don't, that means I gotta stand up and do this on my own. That might cause me to change or have to reevaluate my character. I don't want to do that because right now I'm in a position that is cushy. They're doing all the work for me. Why do I want to have to look at to see if I have to do it when I can get them to do it for me? But yeah, but you ain't sleeping well at night now, are you? You're at their beck and call. When they tell you to jump high, you got to do it. And that make you feel a certain kind of way. Why? Because you're not living your life. And until you have the courage to do it, can you feel the validation of it? This ain't shame. This ain't shame. That's why I keep trying to convey to somebody. You think the reason you were born was for you to be the doormat? Oh, they just don't understand me, Gerald. So I'm gonna try this approach. Maybe the approach was not for you to even go that route. Maybe all that was required was for you to say no. See, everybody yells they want to change, but truth of the matter is they're not prepared for the outcome that comes with it. Why? Because that fear. Fear. Finally, everything's a reality. You don't believe that's true? I told you. I told y'all on the third day. You want to change your perception? You want to change it bad? Why don't you go in there and get the clicking? Because that requires truth. When's the last time you looked at your contacts and said, what do they see in me? What is my connection? Can I grow with this person? What is the benefit for me to be in communion with them? Why? Because most won't do it. So the byproduct of that is we have a disabled community. But nobody wants to talk about that. You can't have a community until you unify yourself. That means you got to go within. You can't worry about what's going on outside your door if you don't know what's going on within inside you. Why do we automatically jump over that aspect? Do you realize if you turned around and just took that effort, just 10%, and focused on yourself, realize how different your life would be? Who am I talking to? But then we can sit up here and say, well, you know what, girl? I was raised in this environment. This is all I know. But that's a representation of what's current. What about the stuff that you have yet to tap into? You don't actually believe, do you? You know those natural gifts and hobbies you do? They don't have a purpose. Why do you think that they're there? But the truth of the matter is, they bring you great joy. Why is it that you have to do that in secrecy? Now, these are people in your environment. Why can't they embrace who you are? Since we want to say keep it real, why? Why is there shame if these are nothing but extensions of you? Why? Because what will be required and what will be defined as unconditional love. Each one teach one, right? Well, you can't teach nobody when you're living in fear. But you know who benefits from that? People who look just like you and people who don't look like you, they want you to do nothing. That's why they're making so much money off of your foolishness. And here's the ironic part about it is they don't even represent that. Mm-hmm. You don't see the top 1% out there doing that. Why? Because real men and real women don't wear their wealth. They invest it. And they realize the greatest investment is themselves. How about them dreams you got? Hmm? You think them dreams are going to go away? No, they're not. They're just going to intensify. Maybe that's the reason why we hear this saying, well, pressure busts the pipe, Gerald. Yeah, but when that pipe breaks, it forces you to do what? Change. You can just allow things to sustain, or you can do something about it. So why won't you do something about your happiness? You notice, how can I say this? You realize how much you are able to accomplish when you have peace of mind? Just think about when things were good and look at how many doors were open for you compared to what is not. Now, let's not slip, because the devil will open up all the doors you want to, just to get you away from yourself. Maybe that's the reason why you met him. Maybe that's why you snuggling with her, because the payoff is not now. This is part of what's needed. The boom bip comes down the road, but you ain't able to see that because you're too busy worrying about the validation of them, not yourself. And here's the funny thing about it. We have people that say, well, you know, if we take a position to regulate our community will be fine. You can't regulate nothing until you regulate yourself. It doesn't matter if you have a PhD. If you don't know you, you're not standing by what you're supposed to be. That's why there's so much chaos going on in the world. I mean, let's throw this out there, and I'm gonna get off of it. You do realize that a great percentage, and I'm not a statistician, but I can tell you this: all the anarchy and upheaval going on in the world would not exist if there was no monetary gain. Why would I invest in something I can't get something out of it? That's for somebody. Meanwhile, you're frustrated. Look, I don't know why I even have to throw this out for somebody, but somebody needs to hear this. Stop worrying about what's outside your door. You're putting all this emphasis and energy in people you see on your TV screen. Like, for example, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I guess you need the validation. You're worried about people on the greater stage. Why? When your greatest impact is at the lowest level. So if you can't get understanding from the people that you interact with, how are you going to even have dialogue with the people that you don't? You realize how many backdoor deals go on and facades go on right under your nose? Do you realize that? But all it does is give validation of what that Bible said. What is a man to gain the world by way of losing his soul? That should tell you how much power that is in your spirit. That should tell you that the moment you invest in you, all things are possible. But you have to unlock the door. You have to make a decision. That's why you can't straddle. You can't straddle that ledge. You can't. Because there's going to be somebody that's going to come from the blind side to push you off of it just to see you react. So you can't turn around and say, well, hey, this ain't right. And this was foul. And look what they doing. But you turn around and turn a blind eye to what's going on right outside your door. That's a hypocrite. You know it. And I know it. And guess who wins? The devil does. Because he uses tactics to erode what you stand for. Wrong is wrong. There's no gray area. I keep trying to tell you, that was the reason why that song, Blurred Lines, is all about. Because the end goal is to get you to accept the agenda. Well, let me let you know something. God's got something better. But until you decide to have the courage to love yourself, can it be given? He's not going to turn around and give your blessings. And mind you, your blessings will supersede anything that you can do. But it may be your motivation that gets you to stand in front of it. Who am I talking to? Queen, why do you think I keep trying to tell you stop looking for your man? Why do you think I keep trying to tell you that? Somebody actually sent me a note, and I love when you guys interact because, number one, I'm so humble because I know the value of your time. But I don't have an agenda. I don't. But if I had to label one, if I had to label it, I would say yes. Ultimately, it's for you to be happy. Now, if that ain't love, because love, let me say that, as you already know, the greatest example of love is you exist. The greatest example of friendship or kindredness is that people come along your life, even they accept the fact that they won't be able to see it, but they want well for you. That's what a friend does. Maybe that's the reason why Aaliyah wrote the song One in a Million. Because love keeps going on and on and on. Why? Because you can't kill love. It only transforms. Maybe that's the reason why you keep thinking about him, but you're laying with him. Who am I talking to? It takes courage to love yourself, family. Meanwhile, you got people in the cheap seats that are vying for your attention. They want your attention so bad. They want your attention so bad because they know the value of your perceptions. All they got to do is plant the seed, and they know that eventually it's going, the roots are going to come. They know that. But if you ain't looking at you, you'll be easily deceived. And haven't you noticed the people that don't have your best interest never take ownership for their actions? They deflect it. Haven't you noticed that? And family members are not exempt because you are connected by blood and bone. No, you're not exempt. I ain't gotta tell you that. I know there's probably one person that you connected to that y'all don't even speak. Don't even know why. Years have passed on. You don't even know why. Know why? Because you're afraid to. And I'm gonna say this for a reason. And I know some of y'all may have felt this. Why is it in 2017 is technologically we have advanced? Why is the one thing that is being rationed is communication? How is that possible? You have people, somebody saying, yeah. You were more closer to them when you had to wait on a letter. You had to wait on a letter from the mail. Now all you gotta do is hit an app and boom, they're right there. Why is that? What's got you so spooked? Or is it perhaps when you see them, they remind you of truth? Looking back, who am I talking to? That's why I keep echoing to the intended ear, the intended heart. There's no benefit in holding secrets. You know, secrets is nothing but truth unspoken. But because God in the intended time and moment, the intended always knows. Oh, God doesn't waste an opportunity, nor does the devil. So let's talk about them spiritual storms, because I know somebody been waiting on that. Do not be afraid if that is where you are. You're not crazy. You are just being isolated from your environment so that you can assess what you need and take accountability of what is not. This gives you an opportunity to see through the distraction. It gives you an opportunity to validate what is authentic compared to what was there to set you back. Who am I talking to? Y'all were ace boom coon. It was all good yesterday. You can't stand each other now. Why? What happened? You got a man come in and divide you. You got a woman come in and divide you. I told you the Jezebel spirit, that's how she do. Maybe the end goal is to get you to respond, but the action was going to impact your children. You ever thought about that? Because you do understand that your children are extensions of you, and you are an extension of your generation. Sure got love for y'all, y'all. Can't y'all see that? But I was like that. I didn't get it. I was like, why am I constantly seeing the same example, but the faces change? But God wanted me to be still. So you can't argue with yourself. And truth always rises. Who am I talking to? You sitting over there, only hear from a certain group of people, and they got the same old song. And you give your time to them, and they will not change their perception. Why? You don't realize you're being deceived. They're getting more out of the interaction because of how it affects you, not what you can do for them. So that's why I put the title out. Which requires you, if you want truth, you got to stand in truth. So the question should be, what are you going to do? Because guess what? You do have some people, which is unfortunate, that will go through their whole life living in fear, living in torment through their actions, and all they want to do is be free. All they want to do is be free. But they're so afraid. Well, guess what? What's keeping you from having that conversation with yourself? What's preventing you from having that conversation with him? What's stopping you? Because if you let the people outside your door tell you, who's the puppet? Who's the pawn? You can't turn around and be screaming peace and tranquility if you ain't living it. It falls on deaf ears. And that's why, unfortunately, millennials, I keep trying to convey this to you. God willing, if you are blessed to see the age of 35, guess what? That's the real you. Because you should not have the same mindset that you have when you were 15. You cannot even sit down and measure through time all the experiences that you've seen. You realize how many people have come in contact of your life? You realize how many people that you have broke bread with? You realize how many people that you may have slept with? I'll do one better because I know some of y'all all about the tangible. Think about all that money that you squandered chasing the illusion. Oh yeah. Let's talk about it. But what's really even sad, more sad is you got people, they wear a good mask. That mask is good. But can't even fool themselves behind closed doors. And all you got to do is look at the behaviors. Just look at the people that have access to you compared to the people who chose not to. What was the justification for that? What was the justification behind it? Do you know? Do you have the courage to admit it to yourself? Why is it now you're where you are in 2017, but everything was good yesterday? What is it that they knew or would not speak upon? But now, there's a division. Let me tell you what. Spiritual attacks are real. So are demons. So are angels. But until you have a willful, until you, look, okay, I should have threw the disclaimer out because I got to reach somebody at the lowest level. So I'm going to throw it out here now. This is the only way I can say it. As long as you keep your pride intact, your life will not be. You're not living your life. You're only getting splinters of it. That's why it does not benefit you to hold grudges. You know who benefits when you have grudges? Devil does. Because that's a wasted opportunity to focus on you. And when you think about it, was it really worth the burden? Was it really worth the pride? Or I'll show him I don't need nobody. Women do it all the time. And men do the same thing too. Men do it too, because they'll take a position of, well, I ain't messing with you. You wasn't thinking about it when you were wrapped between her legs. Don't worry. You wasn't thinking about that when you got her to do what you wanted her to do. Now, were you? What happened? And when you look at that, guess what? Truth will look back. Because we are what we attract, family. Now, I believe that some of you know that you are coming upon your crossroads. And some of y'all have found a way to kind of balance. But the byproduct is it's impacting this. You see it. You know, people right now, they're in their 20s, they look like they're 47. They look 20 years older than they are. Why? Because they put more value in their pride and not their direction. That's why when you go to them and try to have a heart-to-heart, they can't give you one back because that means it's required for them to speak their truth. Who am I talking to? They got to throw that shield up called deflection. You ain't talking to me. But when you turn around and just come with compassion, what's going on, brother? What's going on? Why? Hit them with the W's. Who, what, why, when? They can't answer that. Why? Because that means it requires them to be vulnerable. So let's go back to that title I just put. You're gonna have to make a decision how much your life is worth. You're gonna have to make that choice. Don't worry about who is not present in your life. Stop. And I'm not trying to sound heartless. I'm just saying focus on you. Focus on you. Because as long as you're focusing on them, you're allowing yourself to be exploited. You're allowing them to get you to react in a manner that does not represent you. So once again, how can you turn around and speak about community when you're not communing with yourself? Yes, it only takes one person to spark change. But it matters not if it's not anchored. That's all I'm saying. Because we've been on this tomfoolery for almost 8 years. Look at our society, y'all. It's not getting better, it's getting worse. And them babies that are being reared in that are not prepared. I mentioned in a video a couple videos back, I said, why are we not focusing on your family history? Do you know your family history? Do you know it? But we focus on separation. We focus on who got the last word. Now, but then we have to save face when somebody passes on. Why is that? Isn't that backwards? Florida Evans' character played by Esther Rolle in Good Times. She said, don't give me my flowers when I'm gone. Give me my flowers when I'm alive. So when's the last time you told those people that matter you loved them? Well, I wasn't raised to have emotions, girl. I can't. Well, don't that validate why things ain't falling in place? Because we are what we track. So the truth of the matter is you don't love you. You're just sustaining. And you're sustaining an environment that someone's benefiting from. Because the moment that you decide to invest in your life will be changed. But why aren't we talking about that? I'll tell you why we're not talking about it. It's because it will unravel everything that your belief systems were based off of. The life matters, y'all. It always has. But if you don't claim it, does it surprise you your reality is what it shows you? And who's benefiting? People in the cheap seats. Because they are like this. They don't even look at their watch. They don't even look at their watch and like, they ain't going nowhere. I got them wrapped around my finger. Yep, they ain't going nowhere. I ain't changing. Why should they? Because they benefiting from it. When you get frustrated, they laughing. They're looking at you like, wow. But the truth of the matter is, somebody did that to them. They may have been raised that way. That's why I made that comment a long time ago, guys. If you want to look at your significant other, who she's going to be, look at the person that's most influential in her life. That may be her mom or whoever the significant woman of her life was. And that's a snapshot of who she is. Girlfriends, come on now. Girlfriends know the real. Now, here's the sad thing about it. Because we live in a world, and I'm going to wrap this up. We live in a world where it's the mindset of good and plain. You know, I'm going to take my bag of apples, but I really just need one. As long as I got my bag of apples, I'm okay. But don't realize that it only takes one bad apple to mess up the bag. And that's the mindset that a lot of females have, as well as men. Because listen here, Queen. I say this out of love. You are the wildflower to the world. You are unique. God gave you that third gift, the gift of nurturement. But it matters not if you don't know you. Sure, you can lay down with Tom, Dick, Harry, Steve, Ralph, and have a starting five. But the truth of the matter is they will never claim you. And the moment that you see through it, you can't undo it. Doesn't matter what they give you. Well, he gave me that brand new ride. Yeah, but it wasn't worth your self-worth. Well, I got this big old house. Yeah, but who's the slave? And guys do it too. You can't call yourself a man if you perched up on the couch every day, not handling your business. Well, Joe, I got this good wood, and I'm pimping. No, you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself, dog. You put more emphasis on the persona, not the feet. But you can't call yourself a man if you ain't willing to bend that knee and give praise. You can't call yourself a man if you don't see the value of your last name. What about your seed? Everything that looks good ain't good for you. Doesn't matter. And maybe that's the reason why, family, you see this. You see that person? Exes do it all the time. Because they always keep tabs. They don't want to admit it. They don't have the courage to speak their truth, but they always know what the hell you doing. Number one, if you treated them right, they'll never forget you. That's a fact. If you respected yourself and carried yourself with honor, they're going to learn to regret that. They're going to miss that. Because it doesn't matter. You can't buy happiness. You can't. So while he's got you swinging on the trapeze and got you doing things you would never say never, just take a second and ask yourself, do I feel safe? Does he make me feel whole? Are we going in the right direction? Does this person have a relationship with God before he has a relationship with me? Because if you don't have a relationship with God, he'll never have a relationship with you. See, if you can't answer those questions authentically, that is a snapshot of your reality. Doesn't matter how much vibrato you have. It doesn't matter. Like, what was it, Friday? You ain't got a lot, Craig. Because the person looking back in that mirror is the real you. So who's claiming your tears? Who's defining your honor? Who is cultivating your dreams? So I've talked enough. You knew this was going to come, family. Your validation year is here. Stop worrying about what's outside your door and start working on what's going on inside you. Can you do it? Because when you decide to do it, you'll finally get to smile. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Some of y'all just need to rest. You spend half your paycheck doing this. And here's the funny thing. You realize what's going on right now? There's a lot of people feeling a certain kind of way right now. So what do you mean, Gerald? Because they wanted to put their alter ego and be things they're not, or write checks that they can't cash. And now your finances are just really telling you what you think. Come on now. It's time for you to claim you. Because if you won't, who will? Be blessed.